is a presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the Oklahoma Sports Network's consent is prohibited. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be used without express written consent.
Good evening, Elgin, and welcome to the Elgin Owls Coaches Show, live from Burrito Mico every Tuesday, Taco Tuesday at 6 p.m. We're live here tonight, going to recap the big victory over Weatherford this past Thursday, 35-0. We've got Coach Jack Baker, defensive coordinator, fresh off of that awesome shutout. We've also got Tucker New Henson here and Corday Ritchie as well to join us on the show. Like I said, we will recap the Weatherford game, and then we'll talk everything upcoming Douglas homecoming week. Obviously, if you're just now tuning in and haven't heard on Facebook or any of the social media outlets, the game, due to the potential weather, has been moved to Thursday. So all of the parade, homecoming festivities, announcing who the king and queen are and all that kind of stuff will be at the same times that it would be scheduled for Friday, has now been moved to Thursday. So act accordingly, get your schedules in line, and get out there and enjoy homecoming this Thursday rather than Friday. So we'll be right back after this break and talk a little bit about the game. We'll give you some stats from the Weatherford game and talk a little bit more about the upcoming game against Douglas. You're watching the Elgin Owl Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Download our free apps on Apple and Android devices. Plus, find us on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Search Oklahoma Sports Network and watch from anywhere.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here at Burrito Mico, as we are here every Tuesday night during football season to bring you the Elgin Owl Coaches Show. Big victory last week against Weatherford. Like I said, a lot of people thought that was going to be one of the tougher games on our schedule, at least district schedule, but the boys handled everything perfectly fine with a 35-0 victory. A little bit great start to the game. Obviously, on the offensive side, had a 6-minute drive to get things going, go up 7-0. Tucker New with the huge defensive play there in the first quarter, set the offense up at the 3-yard line for a quick 14-0 lead. Then kind of took our feet off the pedal a little, kind of slowed things down to a certain degree, played a little bit sloppy there on offensively, at least in the second quarter, but then finished things out with 3 more touchdowns to make it 35-0. Defense played phenomenal all week and did a great job, obviously containing their quarterback, injured their quarterback as well, and then had to come in with a backup quarterback and never really could get anything going on the ground or through the air. So great job by the defense. We've got Jack Baker here to discuss how well that defense played, kind of give you a few stats from the game. As far as OSN went, Ritson was our offensive player of the game, and John Lohman was our defensive player of the game. Was always kind of around the ball, had a strip, fumble recovery as well. Like I said, Tucker New also played a great game as well there on the defensive side of the ball. But those were our offensive and defensive players of the game as far as Oklahoma Sports Networks go. And when we get Coach Baker on, we'll talk a little bit about what the coaches decided as the players of the week. Caden finished the game, though, 10 for 17 for 79 yards. Not a ton of yards, but showed a lot of grit and a lot of grit coming back from like some big hits. Kind of first time all year he's kind of really gotten hit really hard. So it's good to see him kind of bounce back up and continue and finish the game there. Also had a rushing touchdown as well and had 48 yards rushing on the night as well. Some on some broken plays, some on some scrambles, but did a great job not only through the air but also on the ground as well. Also had a rushing touchdown and that one passing touchdown. Ritson, ho-hum game for him, 113 yards with 3 touchdowns. That gives us 794 yards on the season, 24 total touchdowns. Tiny had 20 yards as well on the game as well, and Kaysen had that receiving touchdown. Brody had 4 catches for 26 yards. That gives Brody 26 catches on the year for 394 yards and 3 touchdowns. But overall, just a great game had by the entire offense and defense and special teams. Like I said, 35-0, nothing to sneeze at against a proud Weatherford program. And then, like I said, got upcoming game against Douglas this week. Will be played. It has been moved per Elgin Public Schools to Thursday, so all the parade and festivities will begin Thursday at the same times that they were currently scheduled for on Friday. So get your schedule in line and get prepared to come out and enjoy all the homecoming festivities and watch the Owls reach for that 22nd straight win in a row against Douglas. Like I said, should be one that we can handle, but obviously that's why they play the game. So we got to come out and take care of business and hopefully get that one done fairly soon, so that way Saturday for the homecoming dance, everybody can really celebrate. We'll be back after this break with defensive coordinator Jack Baker to discuss how well his defense played in that big victory over Weatherford. Again, thanks so much for Miguel and all the staff here at Burrito Mico for allowing us the opportunity to have this show out here for you in Elgin. Like I said, great job by those guys, and thanks again for allowing us every Taco Tuesday to be here in Elgin for the Elgin Owls Coaches Show. But you're watching the Elgin Owl Coaches Show. We'll be back after this break with Coach Jack Baker. You're watching Elgin Owl Football on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
They say the best way to be a good neighbor is to know your neighbors and give a little help when they need it. And when you need a little, you can find help at Ace Hardware in Elgin. Not only do they offer everything from grills to flowers, paint, hardware, and tools, they offer experience to help guide you through the process. And they're happy to take the time to make sure you can do it right. Ace Hardware of Elgin. They're more than just a hardware store. They're your neighbors. Ace Hardware, 7796 Highway 277 in Elgin.
Welcome back here to Burrito Mico. I'm joined now by defensive coordinator Jack Baker. Coach Baker, awesome game by obviously the defense. We'll talk a little bit about the entire team, but let's start off with the defense. Obviously going into the week, like I said, Weatherford's a proud program. Like we said, one of the tougher teams that we'll face in district. But like I said, we're really nervous about their quarterback. I know you and I talked a little bit about before the game. Wasn't sure if we were going to be able to tackle him, but obviously we were able to handle business there. And I mean, 35-0. Just your overall thoughts of the way the defense played, and I mean, and was able to procure that shutout.
Yeah, no. Played extremely well. I was pretty proud of our guys. You know, on a short week, you know, Weatherford's a 5-1 team, and you know they were kind of in a must-win situation with us to try to get back into that hosting a playoff game deal. So you know, I knew they would be ready to play at their place. It's not an easy place to play,
right.
and you know, good running quarterback. Now they were minus a couple guys offensively, but at the end of the day, our guys played really well, really sound. We you know, pursued the ball well. We tackled when we were in position to make tackles, and you know, had a really good night. So.
Talk a little bit about the offense now. I mean, I know you're more of a defensive guy and whatnot, but obviously putting up 35 points. Talk a little bit about the offense and what the coaches saw from the offense. Kind of a little bit of a slow second quarter. Kind of got out of sorts a little there, but obviously still when you score 35 points, I mean, nothing's too bad there. So talk a little bit about what you guys saw from the offensive side of the ball.
You know, we really stopped ourselves when you look at it in the first half with just little tic-tac penalties and things like that. It's really stopped some drives, and I think that's kind of been a point of emphasis this week. You know, and Weatherford, like I said, really good defensively. I was really impressed with them defensively, the way they flowed to the ball, the way they tackled, and they were real physical, and they were bringing a lot of pressure. So I thought our kids handled that well. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like, oh, what things we need to work on. We scored 35 points. Then
right.
That's become the like, oh no, we should,
right,
you know,
right.
But no, another good night, good solid night from our offense. You know, I know there's some things that we left out there that you know, Coach Castro and those guys are focused on fixing. So we put those points on the board. But at the end of the night, I think you know, when we kind of got bogged down there, it was our own doing. You know, with penalties and those things.
Let's talk a little bit about Ian Krenz, obviously kind of a new weapon for us. I mean, now, with those we had several touchbacks during that game. I mean, talk about how, going from, having to defend 80 yards rather than, 65 or so. I mean, last couple of years kind of squib kicked or kind of angled kicked or whatnot. And teams are starting on about the 35 or so. So talk about a little bit about how him as a weapon kind of making teams go another 15, 20 yards on your defense, how that helps the defense out.
I mean, it's crucial and it's really good, especially when you're playing really, really good teams and really, really good offenses. Sometimes, defensively, it's about making them snap the ball again and see if they can do it all the way down the field. And so when you're having to do that for 80 yards as opposed to do it for 65, it makes a difference. More opportunity for offense to make a mistake, more opportunity for one of your guys to make a big play. So that's definitely huge, make them drive the field.
Let's talk a little bit about players of the week, but first we'll start with the Black Flag Bearer this week was Kason Meyer.
Yep.
Talk about the job he's done this year. Kind of, like I said, I know missed one of those games there early in the season, but talk about how he's done a great job so far this year, kind of being that quarterback of the defense, getting the signals in and calling plays and all that kind of stuff.
Kason's really, really got comfortable. I thought earlier on, last time I was on here, we talked maybe after Newcastle.
Yeah.
Or
might have been before Newcastle.
Newcastle after the MAC game, and he was trying to do too much, and he was kind of grew into that role that second half of that MacArthur game, and he's really grown into it. He's done a really good job of taking control, being that voice out there, getting things, situated and ran right on the field. I've been very proud of him. He's done a tremendous job, which I knew he would. He just needed to relax and trust me a little bit, let me trust him, and we would get there. And I think we're there right now. He's doing a really, really stand-up job at it.
In the last couple of weeks, Tucker New has really come a long way and really come on. Talk about how his emergence has kind of solidified the defense and kind of solidified that front three. And, obviously, what a great play that was on the interception, first defensive play of the game.
Yeah, he came off to me because I told him all week, I said, I don't want us to leave our feet on the pass rush because the quarterback pull it down and run it. And he kind of misunderstood what I said because he was kind of being blocked, got up, and did a great job. Great play by him. But he's like, I know you told me not to leave my feet, but I was like, I got you. As long
that's
as
being coachable.
As long as that's the outcome, you do what you want. But, no, Tucker's done a really, really good job of really just coming on. And, I think the thing that first off is he's super athletic.
Yeah.
He's really bendy. He's fast. He's long. He's a strong, explosive kid. All those things. But at the end of the day, what makes him really, really good and what really propelled him is his motor and how hard he plays the game and making plays from the backside or front side, or even when he, still making some mistakes maybe on gaps and things, being able to get himself out of that trouble because of the motor that he plays with. And so he's done a really good job. Been really proud of him to watch him, progress and develop. And he's such a fun kid to coach, and he's fun to mess with. I do enjoy it. So, sure.
All right, so the offensive player of the game listed by the coaches was Ritson. Obviously, 113 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. We talk about him every week. What more can you say about him? But talk a little bit about the game that he had, not only on the offensive side, but also on the defensive side.
Yeah, well, he made a couple really tremendous plays defensively.
Yeah.
For sure, setting back on the backside, quarterback pulling it out the back door, and put a couple pretty good shots on the kid, and that's why I said, we always talk about if the quarterback wants to run the ball, let's punish the quarterback.
Yeah.
If they want to run the quarterback, let's make sure we punish the quarterback. And he did a good job of that. And then offensively, he does what Ritson does. He's giving the ball, and he's going to go get positive yards. And I think that's one of his best attributes. We see the wild, crazy plays and celebrations and things he makes. But at the end of the day, what's really positive about him is if he's got the ball in his hands, he's moving forward.
Yeah.
And it may not be for a whole lot at times, but he's moving forward. It's no negative play.
Yeah, they did a good job kind of containing, so like you said, some of those patented long runs or whatnot, but he was just kind of that ground and pound. Always, like you said, always falling forward. We talk about it during the live broadcast all the time. He's, like I said, almost every time it's either 2 or 3 yards because no matter, even if he's kind of bottled up, he finds a way to use his strength and fall forward and things like that.
That's one of the most demoralizing things.
Right.
Ever coaching defense is when you got a guy that you just can't get ahead of, and when you can't get ahead of the chain. So 3 or 4 yards and you can't stop it for less.
Right.
It gets frustrating.
Kind of just to piggyback off of that a little, talk about that, like I said, kind of that demoralizing side of things when you just can't stop the run. Everybody likes to splashy. As an old quarterback, of course, I like throwing the ball around the ballpark and all that kind of stuff. But defensive coaches always talk about it. I mean, how a strong running game could just be demoralizing. Talk a little bit about why that is.
I mean, because if you can't stop the run, it doesn't matter if they can throw it or not.
Right.
know? And so, that's always number one. We want to always stop the run, and when you got a team that just can reel off, even if it's just 3 or 4 yards a pop.
3 or 4 yards, that's a first down on third down every time.
Yeah, that old, flex bone kind of, attitude of 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And so that becomes demoralizing because you're calling things and you're saying, all right, well, look, we got to stop this, and you're calling different things to try to stop it, and you're trying to adjust a different way to stop the run. If it doesn't work, and you're just, all right, I'm out of ideas. And if the biggest thing is, you give up some first downs here and there and stuff, but at some point in time, you get those guys behind the chains, and then you're in business, and you force them to be one-dimensional. And I think whenever you give them 3 or 4 yards up, it's really hard to force the team to be one-dimensional. So.
Well, and it makes it so much easier for the offensive coordinator at 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 4 than it is for 2nd and 10 or whatnot. Yeah. Defensive player of the game, John Lohman. We kind of piggyback the same way. We, as OSN, we also named him the defensive player of the game. Talk about him, not only this game, but like I said, how he's progressed in these first 7 games. First-year starter, and was really kind of coming to his own the last couple of weeks with some fumble recoveries and things like that. Talk about how his game and kind of how he's progressed throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the thing. He's really fresh to playing football when you really look at it overall.
Second year,
second
right?
Year, really. I think he played a little bit in junior high, but like his second year coming into high school, first year starter, and he's really grown. And what I was really happy with both of our safeties, him and Brody, was. We're getting a lot of crack on our outside linebackers from receivers and just their eyes of, all right, here I come. John had 1 or 2 TFLs. Brody had 1 or 2 TFLs. When you get that TFLs from your safeties, they're having good eyes. They're getting down there and being involved. And I thought that's really what John did. I was really proud of him. Thought it was his best game by far of the season. And then just the effort play of stripping the ball there. They get that big, get that big run there and big yardage chunk play, and we're able to strip it away, take it away right there, and kind of end that threat. Anytime you get a turnover like that, it's pretty beneficial. So he definitely earned it this week. Like I said, very proud of the way he's come along. Again, another just great kid to coach. He's yes sir, no sir, and he's going to try his best, and you can coach him, and you can get on him, and you can do whatever you need to, and he's going to respond. And so.
Talk a little bit about kind of turnovers and things like that. I mean, how important it is for a defense and to gain those extra possessions for the offense, and how important turnovers are to you and your coaching style.
Oh yeah, man. If we can force turnovers, we like to score on defense too. That's what I tell people all the time. We can go score. I'll take it. Anytime we can get the ball back in our offensive hands, as potent as our offense is, and the job that Coach Castro and them guys do over there on the offensive side. I mean, the last couple of years have been one of the best offenses in the state, regardless of class. And so anytime we can put the ball back in their hands, it's good. If we put it back in there early, it's even better.
Yeah.
And so, and it's a demoralizing thing. You turn the ball over, it's a momentum shifter and things like that. And I don't know why, but momentum plays a big part.
Yeah.
Quarterback throws an interception to us, and he may hold it a little bit, account longer next time, or not try to force the ball into tight windows or whatever it is. And so, it's a mental game as much as it is, all right, we can get the ball back. And I know, like I said, if we get the ball back to our offense, they're going to go score points. I'm pretty confident in that most of the time. And so that's what we definitely want to do.
My father-in-law, being an old defensive coordinator, he had the stat. I mean, this was probably 10 years ago or so, but a stat, it was if you either a pick six, any type of defensive score or special team score, your chances of winning are like increased by like 85, 90% or something crazy. So I mean, that just talks about the importance of, like I said, not only getting those turnovers, but also, like I said, Bryce last year having all those pick six turnovers and things, pick sixes and stuff. It was a huge opportunity.
We were that close to another safety too, so
so
we were right there on it.
Yeah,
so, and they were fired up for it. kids, they thought they had him, and I was, he was out, but it was close. I was yelling for it from the box, I can tell you. So.
Sharpen your axe. Talked a little bit about him earlier. It was Brody. Brody had a great game as well, and just like I said, great career. And I mean, it's kind of a luxury to have a 4-year starter back there, kind of as your defensive safety and whatnot. So talk a little bit about Brody, not only just in this game, but just as a whole.
I love that kid, man. I think he's an underrated college prospect too.
100%.
I think whoever gets him to go play at the next level is getting a steal, wherever he goes. He's a tremendous kid, and just a great kid, hard worker. Had a great offensive game. I don't know the offensive stats, but I know he played well because when we started talking about it, really going to co-it. I really wanted to co-the defense player of the game between Loman and Brody.
Okay.
And they're like, well, Brody had a really good offensive game too. I said, well, sharpen your axe, and that's kind of what that encompasses. So, great offensive game, and again, a couple TFLs. He really kind of runs that secondary back there. Those guys listen to him. He kind of, and he understands, and he's able to explain sometimes things that I tell him. He's able to explain to those other guys. Get across. He's been with me so long.
Right.
So, just a true program kid. 4 years in the program, I've seen him through. I've seen him start. And, obviously he was extremely talented to be able to start as a freshman.
Right.
But just to see him grow and just kind of his work ethic and, his ability. And I know I was kind of nervous about this game and just because I knew what it meant to Weatherford to try to win this one to get back into district race. And I saw him Wednesday night when I was up there doing my play call sheets. And don't worry, Coach, we got this. And, there's another kid who used to tell me that all the time, and I always believed him, too, and it's Colin Donnelly. So now Brody's kind of taking that one over.
Okay.
So I can get with that.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that, like I said, especially in that Newcastle game, it was easy for us to see because we were kind of at a little bit lower of an angle or whatnot. But just to watch him coach now, like I said, Keegan had to step in for Corday in that game, and to watch him just kind of, like I said, be that second coach on the field and kind of coach those young kids up. Because, like I said, Corday's kind of a new kid. Keegan, when he plays, is kind of new. John's kind of new back there. I mean, Bryce has obviously been there for a couple of years now. But watching him, like I said, seeing him turn into that leader is really exciting. And like I said, I agree wholeheartedly with you. I mean, any college in this state or anywhere across the country that gets him is going to get a great kid and a great family along with it and things like that. And I know you're looking forward to coaching the little brother, too, at some point as well.
Yeah, they're both – Morrison boys are fun. I'll tell you what, somebody dumb enough to give me a college coaching job, I'll go take Brody on my team. I'll tell you that right now.
There you go. Special teams player of the game, Gage Elam. Obviously had a good game running the ball as well there, kind of in the fourth quarter. But talk about him on the kickoff teams and all that kind of stuff and what he means to the team as a senior.
And I was doing tackles, and it was just one play. I watched on kickoff, and he just popped out at me, and he is coming from across the field and he gets in on the tackle that's all the way on the other sideline from him. And it's just the sheer amount of effort that he was playing with. I was like, that's what all 10 guys, all 10 other guys on the kickoff team need to play like.
Right.
I just pointed that out. And Gator's one of those guys. He's an ultimate team guy.
Yeah.
And, he's not a me guy. And he works really hard. He plays a lot of scout team and, does a lot of different roles for us. And, we're grateful to have him on this team. He serves an important role. And I tell them guys all the time, all special teams are important, but the one most important to me is the kickoff.
Right, because it depends on where they're going to start that drive from.
Yes.
And then it also, like I said a couple weeks ago, when they return that one, I mean, it goes against your stats, I guess.
I guess if I'm going to take the special team stats when it's good for me, I got to take them when they're bad too. So.
There you go. All right, then last but not least, Rough Rider Hudson. Let's talk. I mean, obviously, Rough Rider's a little bit of an offensive type of gig, but obviously also doing a great job on the other side of Tucker, and then on those passing situations, moving down, kind of in the middle, kind of like I said, kind of playing that dual role. So I mean, shows his his smarts and whatnot there, being able to handle all that information. But talk a little bit about Hud and the season he's having so far.
I mean, he's a bright kid, and he's one of those guys that can fill a lot of roles for us. And the other thing is about him too is he cares a whole lot. Yeah. And that really matters. When somebody cares a whole lot, they'll go do whatever you ask them to do. And he's one of those guys, and he's just a tough, hard-nosed Elgin kid. I mean, it's just that's what he is. And quintessential, just tough, hard-nosed Elgin kid's going to play extremely hard, and that's what he does. I've been extremely proud of him defensively. He kind of fell into that Jace, role that we had to play on a lot of defense and a lot of offense, and he's learned to play into that. He's done a real good job of handling that, and obviously he's still doing a great job on the offensive line. Rough Rider, he anchors that left side, which is really important to Coach Castro, and does a real good job. He's a real coachable kid, so expect big things from him the rest of this year and next year as well. So.
Coach, congratulations on the 21st victory in a row for the Elgin Owls. Like I said, an awesome, great job of your defense, obviously, with the shutout. So that kind of puts a bow on the Weatherford game. We'll be back after this break, talk a little bit about homecoming festivities and the Douglas game coming up, which has been moved to Thursday, just so you're aware. All the homecoming festivities have also been moved to Thursday as well. You're watching the Elgin Owl Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
If you're someone who feels anxious or scared about going to the dentist, you're not alone. We're here to make sure you feel completely comfortable every step of the way. And at our office, we believe in treating more than just teeth. We focus on you as a person. And with Sedation Dentistry, you can experience the care you need without fear and without pain. And with Sedation Dentistry, we can make your dreams come true.
Here live at Burrito Miko, as we are every Taco Tuesday, talking Elgin Owl football. Like I said, just recap the Weatherford game. Got Douglas this week, Coach. Homecoming week. I know coaches are kind of superstitious and kind of schedule oriented or whatnot. And not only is it homecoming week, but now we find out, after practice on Tuesday that the game's moving up a day. Talk a little bit about kind of, like I said, how that could be a distraction, but how, like I said, all year you guys have handled distractions and any of that stuff so well. So talk a little bit, like I said, about kind of, the thought of homecoming and how that kind of irritates a coach sometimes and some of that stuff.
I'm not a fan, but it's for the kids,
right? Right.
It's for the school and all that, and so it's really a great time and just long, Coach White says it all the time, and echo it. Just keep the main thing the main thing,
right?
And our kids have been pretty good at. And after last week on that short week, and having to go to the baseball field, and having to do some of the things we had to do last week, and going into a really tough game, I feel real comfortable with it. We, like I said, we literally found out a couple hours ago.
Right.
Moving it to Thursday, and so I'm good with it. I think we're prepared. Offensively and defensively, I think we're prepared for what we're going to see and what we need to do, and so it shouldn't be any issue.
Talk a little bit about Douglas and what you see from them. Obviously, let's talk more about their offense. Obviously, you're going to been looking at some film and whatnot on their offense. What should the fans expect to see from that Douglas offense?
Douglas, the team is improved a little bit from a year ago, and that's still a team that's they're struggling and they're trying to find the way. And I think their coach is doing a great job of trying to resurrect that program. That's a very storied program, Oklahoma City Douglas, and I actually got to coach in the Soul Bowl for several years.
You were at Millwood, right?
Oklahoma City Millwood.
They beat Millwood this year, I think. Douglas did, yeah.
They did, and so I got to coach, and that's an annual Soul Bowl between Douglas and Millwood, so I got to coach in that. So it's a storied program, that they're trying to resurrect, and I think they're doing a good job at it. They're going to be, kind of multiple offensively. We're going to see some eye under center stuff, and we'll see some spread out, 2-by-2. Really, they've got some athletes, that if we give them some space and they give them space, they can cause us some problems. So we've talked about that. But I feel real confident. We get lined up. We play our brand of football, and that was the biggest thing about this week. We get lined. I don't want it to be ugly. I want to go out there, take care of our business,
right.
Get better. We're preparing every day. It's not just for the opponent that we got this this week. It's for everything that we want to accomplish as a program. And so I think the kids have done a good job of that this week, through practice and getting ready for that.
To kind of talk a little bit about that and further, obviously we've, the scores are what the scores are. We've been handling. I mean, we're averaging 48 points a game, and you guys on the defensive side are giving up less than 10 points a game, 9.3. Talk a little bit about how, as coaches, you got to always kind of be pushing the kids to not let complacency sit in and kind of, like I said, continue to work for that ultimate goal because, like I said, right now we're playing in week 8, but, our ultimate goal is to be playing in week 14, and in order for us to get there, we've got to get better every week, no matter who the opponent is and things like that.
Yeah, and our kids are bright. They're not dumb, and
right.
They understand the situation, and they see it, and they can flip on the TV, and they can see on the internet, and they can see who we may play down the road, and they see it, and it's, like we said, we're not good enough right now,
right.
And so that's got to be our driving force. That's got to be our driving force behind every day of practice. And we'll just stack days and get better. I think our kids have done a really, really good job of doing that, understanding the situation that we're in, that we need to improve no matter who the opponent is, and the way our schedule sets up, we got some really tough weeks, and we got some, not so tough weeks
right.
at times, and that's kind of where we're at. And we've got some big ones coming down the road, for sure. So we want to get in, handle business, get after them, stay healthy, and get better. And that's our focus.
Coach, kind of get you out of here. One last question. Just, we're 7 games into the season. You guys are giving up less than 500 yards rushing, a little bit less than 600 yards passing, only giving up about 150 yards a game. There was one thing you had to pinpoint that your defense needs to improve on moving forward into this, into the district schedule and into this playoff push. What would that be?
It's still just, it all comes down to fundamentals. I don't feel like we're pursuing the ball really well right now. I still feel like we can improve tackling. We can improve tackling and not giving up. It's just like watching the JV game last night. We had a timeout. I'm like, guys, let's tackle. Let's force the ball carrier to go backwards, not forwards when we're tackling. Things like that. It's just all little things. And I think that's what won us the state championship in the past. This was won us a lot of football games, and it's going to be what wins us a lot of football games. So it's still just getting better at the little things, making sure our alignment's right, making sure our assignment's right, making sure we're in position to make the plays when we make it. So at the end of the day, if you had to say one thing, I said we need to get better at tackling.
Yeah.
And I'll probably say that for the rest of my
every
career.
Team, right,
every
right.
I get. But that's it's just because it's just so important. So. Work really hard to get yourself in a position. Let's make a play. And I think that's what we need to do. And probably second thing, make sure we cut down on our penalties.
Yeah.
And that's just overall.
I think that's the whole
goal.
team. Yeah.
Overall team goal. So.
Well, good deal, Coach. Congratulations again on the big victory, big shutout, obviously, and good luck this week. Looking for win number 22 in a row, 8-0 on the season, and keeping that district title hopes alive, and hopefully we can go even further than that.
Yes, sir.
You're watching Elgin Iowa Football Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Sidelined by surgery, illness, injury? Valor Physical Therapy can help. At Valor PT, our skilled therapists create a rehabilitation program individualized for you, with education and encouragement each step of the way. Whether it's sports or the activities of life, let Valor get you back in the game. Start now at 405-609-3637. No referral needed. Mention this ad and get a free t-shirt at your first appointment.
All right, we're back here Well, there we go. We're back here live at Burrito Miko, as we are every Taco Tuesday here at Burrito. Thanks to Miguel and all of his staff for allowing us to bring you the show here in Elgin. I've got Corday Ritchie and Tucker New Henson here with me. Both juniors, right? Both juniors, okay. Corday, let's start with you since you're next to me. Corday, obviously a good game by all. I mean, obviously your starting corner shut out 35-0 there on the team. Talk a little bit about this with everybody that kind of plays both ways. Are you more of an interception guy or a touchdown guy?
I think I'm definitely more of a touchdown guy.
More of a touchdown guy, okay. Obviously, had a good game both on offense and defense. Got some carries on the offensive side. Then played a good game. Kind of like I said, Weatherford wasn't that big of a passing team, but did a good job there. Talk a little bit about how fun it is when you get the ball in your hands, not only just on the offensive side of the ball, but also you're now kind of returning kicks and punts and things like that. Talk about kind of that feeling when the ball's in your hands and what's enjoyable about it.
Everything really, man. Getting the ball is pretty exciting. I get to return kicks now. Finally kicked it to me. Returned it. So hopefully they kick it to me more. But usually every time I get the ball, there's a hole open. Go find it. Get a lot of yards. Looking to score every time, though.
What's more difficult, punt return or kick return?
Oh, man. Definitely punt return.
Punt return, because you got to catch it first. There's still people coming after you and all that kind of stuff. Okay, we'll come back in a second. Tucker, hey, great play on that one. I mean, take us through that play and kind of what your thought process were on that big interception on the first defensive play. Coach Baker kind of called you out there a little bit early. You weren't supposed to leave your feet, but obviously it worked out pretty good for you there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he definitely told me not to leave my feet, but I saw that ball go up in there, and I just knew I had to jump. I mean, I knew he was going to get mad, but I figured it was going to be worth it, and I got the ball. So, I mean, it was all worth it in the end for sure, but definitely had to get my butt chewed a little bit, but, it's all right.
Let's talk a little bit, kind of like I said, kind of piggybacking off what we asked Corday a few seconds ago. You also play tight end, kind of a decent rotation there with 5 of you guys kind of playing a decent amount of time there. But you've had a touchdown earlier in the year, had a big catch last week as well. So what's more enjoyable for you, the sack or the touchdown?
I'd say the sack for sure. I mean, I'm more of a defense guy. I like going out and hitting people for sure. I mean, that's probably my biggest thing. I've always loved defense more. I mean, defense is just way funner to me than going out there and catching the football. I don't know why. It's just something about it, man. I don't know.
Okay, so Coach Baker's going to be happy about that, because that may of you guys that play both ways, that may be the first defensive guy that came out with the defensive one there. Tucker, talk a little bit about, obviously, like I said, kind of a little bit of a slow start to the year, but obviously you've come on these last couple weeks. I mean, is it just you understand the plays better, or kind of what's going on there to kind of shows kind of like you said, the last couple weeks you've really come on there?
Yeah, it's definitely working a lot harder practice-wise, just understanding things better, understanding the plays better, just know where I'm supposed to go, know where I'm supposed to be, and I think giving like 100% on everything it'll help you a lot in the end for sure, especially like when the ball's across the field and you go make a play. I mean, it helps you a lot. It shows determination that you put on the field, and I think that's what's helped me a lot.
Awesome. All right, Corday, we asked this to kind of everybody. Favorite subject in school? You're supposed to be a student athlete. Remember that, okay? History, okay. Same question for you, Tucker?
Definitely lunch. Me playing
lunch.
Defensive end. Oh yeah.
Okay, kind of get some weight on you there. All right, then I'm going to steal this one from Billy. Billy last week did the coach's show, and he asked the players on. So, do you have a sister?
Yes.
Okay, you got a sister, Tucker?
Two of them. Yes,
okay,
sir.
so I'm a girl dad, so I completely understand that. So, who on the team would you not let date your sister? You would not let Tucker. Okay, Corday's got Tucker. Actually, none of them. Okay, that's a great answer there. Tucker.
Definitely Ritson.
Definitely Ritson cannot date your sister. Okay, that sounds good. Well, like I said, we got talk a little bit. And either of y'all can answer this. Talk a little bit about homecoming and kind of what all that means, playing in front of the home fans, and like I said, kind of all those festivities and things like that. What it means to you guys as players.
It's definitely a big time game. A lot of fans going to be there. Really exciting. I don't know what I would call it, but it's going to be a really good game to watch. All the fun after, we just have to stay locked in, focus on the game more than what's going on afterwards. But other than that, pretty fun week.
Coach will like that answer, I would imagine. And then last but not least, before we get you guys out of here, talk a little bit, like I said, I mean, you're 8-0 on the season, and 7-0 on the season. Let's not put the cart before the horse, but 7-0 on the season. Like I said, talk a little bit about kind of, like I said, what Coach always talks about, keeping that main thing the main thing, and how important that is to you guys in some of these games where you kind of go in knowing, you know, we should win this game and some of that type of stuff. Talk about what that means to you guys as players, keeping the main thing the main thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he preaches that every day. It's an everyday thing that you're just not. You're not good enough to go win the whole thing. Yeah, you can always get better day by day, and I think we still have a lot to learn, a lot to go. I mean, we had quite a few mess ups on offense last week, and they were really hard on us. And just keep on going and keep getting better day by day. But I think we'll get there eventually for sure.
Sounds awesome. Congratulations to you guys. Like I said, I'm really proud of the way that you guys have really come on the last couple of weeks. Like I said, a little bit of a slow start to the season for both of you, but hey, these last couple of weeks have really kind of made an impression on everybody, not only just here, but also throughout the state. So congratulations and good luck, and hopefully we can push that win streak to 22.
Yes, sir.
All right. You're watching Elgin Iowa Coaches Show on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Hey guys, I'm Will, the CEO of Foxhole, the military B&B platform, and we're honored to partner with OSN to support Oklahoma high school sports.
Hi, I'm Spencer Colossus, the founder of Foxhole. We built this platform specifically for you, the military community, designed to reimburse official travel and support all your personal travel needs.
And hey guys, if there's one thing I can give you for my time, it would be this to the players and coaches. To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift.
And we're back here live at Burrito Miko. Want to thank Coach Jack Baker. Want to thank Tucker New Henson and also Corday Ritchie for joining us today on the Elgin Iowa Coaches Show. Big victory, obviously, over Weatherford, 35-0. That's 21 in a row. Makes it 7-0 on the season and 4-0 in district play, with obviously those full 60 points for any potential tiebreakers as well. Got a big one this week against Douglas for homecoming. As you're now well aware, we've said it multiple times throughout the broadcast tonight, the game has been moved to Thursday because of the weather threat on Friday. Also, all the homecoming festivities, as far as the parade and the crowning ceremony and all that stuff, will be live for you on Thursday. We will have all the action for you live. We will begin pregame a little bit early this week since it's homecoming, probably about between 6:10 and 6:15, so that way you can see all of the homecoming festivities prior to the game. Looking forward to a big one. Obviously, it's always fun to get back at the nest. It's been a while. It's been a couple weeks since we've been there, so looking forward to this one, obviously, with it being homecoming as well. Hope you're able to get there on Thursday. If you had the plans to get there on Friday, hopefully you can rearrange some things and get there. But we're looking forward to that one and hoping that we can push that win streak up to 22 games for the Elgin Owls. So for Chris Balvance on computer and producing, I'm Vincent Saylor, and as always, go Owls!
Thanks for watching this presentation